Please continue to hold, and we'll be with you shortly.
Thank you for holding. How can I be of service to you today?
Yes, I have this recurring charge on my monthly statement, and I can't figure out what it's for.
Well, we'll certainly do our best to help you. What does the charge say on your statement?
Well, it's a $275 charge, and it just says Iraq War.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. The Iraq War cost the average American family over $16,000 since the war started.
Are you kidding? Well, I never signed up for that.
I'm sorry, ma'am. You don't sign up for the Iraq War charge.
Tell me, have you enjoyed your war so far?
It's a standard charge for all Americans.
Have you gotten a picture of who they are?
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Did some men in a cave knock down your tower?
While you're still in line, can I interest you in our new monthly Iran War charge?
No,
Are you gonna behave or lay next to flowers?
Thanks for calling the United States.
Wake up, sleepyhead. It's after 8, you're late. Get out of bed. Fuck what a spectator said. Scientific dictatorship straight ahead. Rise and shine, sleepyhead. It's after 8, you're late. Get out of bed. This is a bucket of water on your head. You're asleep. You might as well be dead.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Welcome to the Red Pill Show. And now, here's your host and creator for New Alternative Media via podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the original Red Pill Show. Today is Friday. Thank God. Thank God it's Friday. May 8th, 2015. The original Red Pill Show is copyrighted by me. No part of this podcast, internet voiceover, internet protocol, whatever it is, live on Spreaker.com cannot be reused or rebroadcasted in any way, shape, or form without my written consent, or you can just ask, and I'd be more than happy to let you do that. The Red Pill Show is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please use at your own risk. Finally, the original Red Pill Show is opinionated. The host, especially callers when we have them, which we're going to have one today, finally, and people in the chat room will be opinionated. Under no circumstances whatsoever should opinions be taken as advice. If you are seeking professional advice, we strongly encourage you to hire a licensed, if required, person in his or her field there, little Tommy. Hey, man. No, that's his name. How's it going? Man, I am just so excited here. We have Maja from Forever Still coming here when I call her. But first I'm going to play a song by Forever Still. If you do not know who Forever Still is, I'm making a prediction that you're going to hear from them very, very soon. It is very rare, and I'm getting into this already, but it's very rare when I hear a band that just makes my jaw drop. And this lady sings amazing. I don't want to get into this too much. I don't want to get her on. But let me play Last Day first here, and then I'll be back on the other side. And I will Skype her, and the chat room will be open for questions. I'm going to have to ask her if she wants her phone blown up for Twitter, doing it that way, too, because at the end, I'd be more than happy, and I'm sure she will, to take your questions. But she's mine for now, and I am going to ask her all my questions first because I can. So here's Last Day. Now, Last Day, this is one of the first songs I heard from them, and they have videos, and it's like I said, I don't want to get into this too much, but the videos are awesome, the quality's awesome, and this song, well, I'll talk to her about it. So I'm going to play this on the other side and bring her in and give her an introduction, and I'll be back on the other side. So enjoy this. The Last Day from Forever Still.
Don't look too closely, then I'll see light. Defy me once and I'll be out of sight. Don't look back and cry. I'll keep living life. It's the last day of my life. Don't make me stay and think I'll be nice. I'd rather fight and be the one death spies. Don't look back and cry. I'll keep living life. It's the last day of my
All right, that's Forever Still with Last Day, and I'm trying to get a hold of Maja right now.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Happy to
Awesome.
be here.
Awesome. So what'd you think of that? Did you listen to any of that, or did you just...
Yeah, I did. I just had to find a mute button just before you call it. Like, shit, too much noise.
And you're probably wondering, what the hell am I getting into, right? Or...
No, not at all.
Really?
I feel very safe and sound.
Well, you should know me by now with our, tweets and messaging.
I mean, I always feel like I'm meeting friends when I Skype interview people.
Well, that's awesome. Well, again, thank you from, I can't say it enough. As you know, I'm a huge, huge fan of you. And I just wanted to get you on because for the life of me, I cannot understand why you guys are not known more than you are. You haven't broke through yet.
Yeah, I'd say it takes a while. It takes some hard work. So many bands out there and a lot of clutter. So,
well, we'll get into that in a second if you don't mind. What I want to do is, I want you to, if you want to, of course, you can say whatever you want. We're on the internet. I told you that I swear I will try to be, as much of a gentleman as possible without offending anybody, and I sure don't want to offend any of the fans.
Yeah, sure. I'm not. I don't think anybody minds a little swearing. I mean, we do that live. So.
Yeah, I saw some of the when you're on your tour there over the weekend, and I saw some of the videos, and I know it's a cell phone or an iPad or whatever. I wish the sound was a little better, because of course it sounds like crap because it's a phone.
Yeah.
But I liked what I heard. I mean, it was very good. You guys did a great job, and your fans love you. And everything that was said in the feedback. I mean, I don't know if you read that tweet that I gave you or whatever, but people were ranting and raving about your sound check.
Yeah. That's really funny. I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So what is that? I mean, you guys got your sound down, but before we get into that too, I like I said, I don't have a script here. I'm on my lunch break. And it's what, 7 in the evening over there in Denmark? Or?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're had dinner or ready to have adult beverages or whatever you do. If you don't, that's fine. But you're ready to party here, and I just got done stuffing my face. So, I wanted just to bring up a little bit here how I discovered you guys, because I think you might want to know that as well. Can I share that?
Yeah, of course,
okay.
Of course.
All right. So I'm doing this show, and I don't really want to get into it. If everybody wants to know why, which they probably don't, because I'm sure they're mostly here for you, which is great. But I get contacted on Twitter a lot, and a lot of it is musicians, and why I don't know. And I don't recall if you contacted me or I followed you, and it really doesn't matter. But when I think I told you this because I tell a lot of people is don't stop chasing your dreams. And I think you said, well, I'm too far into this to do that and can't turn back and I'm not going to stop. I think you said that, didn't you?
Something along those lines, I'm
right,
sure, yeah.
Right. Well, people usually just don't either respond or they just go, oh, I won't, or something like that. But I usually check people out. And I don't know, and no offense to anybody, but a lot of them are the screaming bands. Like, do you like Linkin Park? I assume you do.
I mean, I don't listen to them a lot anymore, but I did a lot when I was younger, and I liked them then.
Right. Well, a lot of the bands that are getting a hold of me are those screaming bands, and it's not really my cup of tea for that. And I've gotten permission to play their stuff like you have. Thank you very much for doing that. I've also bought your stuff, which you know, because I think that's just fair, because I want to get into that too a little bit about writing music and what it takes and all the pressure on it. But to get back to my story, I jump around a lot, obviously. Like I said, I don't have a script. I'm sitting here in my truck talking to you on my lunch, and I'm just coming off the top of my head here. But I found you on Twitter, and I listened to your stuff and all your links, and you're on YouTube. You're on just name all the stuff you're on, because you're doing a great job doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we try our best to be everywhere, like you said. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. We like to be in a lot of places and hit a lot of different mediums and people, because there are always people who prefer one thing or another.
Well, you're doing a fantastic job, and I'm not saying that just to say that. I mean, I call them the way I see them, and your webpage, everything, your responses, you're a very professional musician, and I'm just going to tell you this someday, and for some reason, musicians make excellent business people, and down the road, that's going to be you, because you are fantastic at what you do, at managing that band, all the PR, getting back to your fans. It almost seems like you're in a mode or habit. I don't know if you wake up and have your coffee or tea, whatever, and this and that, and it seems like you get on Twitter and Facebook, and because I see you responding right around the same times a lot of times, so you must be in some type of schedule or something for doing that. But the point is that you do it, and that's so awesome.
I mean, yeah, I think it's so important to be able to communicate with people, and it's one of the greatest tools we have today to be able to talk to everybody. I mean, that's the whole reason we went to the UK, and a lot of people already knew about us because we had taken the time to speak together and actually like just make fans and friends before we even got there.
Right. Well, it's working because I checked you all out, and then I listened to your stuff, and I'm hooked. I mean, I watch those videos. And I'm old enough, which is fine with me. I'm not ashamed of my age, but I'm old enough to watch when MTV came out in the 80s, and I was in high school, and I was mesmerized. I came home, and my mom's like, "Tim, what are you doing? You're watching TV?" I'm watching music television videos from the time I get home to the time I go to bed because I was just so mesmerized by that stuff. And
that's awesome, really.
I'm telling you, in my opinion, and like I've told you before, I mean, I'm a closet guitar player. I don't want to get into that. I'm just a fan. And when I give my opinions, I'm just saying what I like. And you respect that, and you've been awesome in listening to that. You're so open-minded, and it's just, I think it's going to help Forever Still evolve to where you want to go. But when I see your videos, it takes me back to that when I'm sitting watching these videos with my jaw dropped, like, and who's producing those and making those, because they're very high quality and very professional, very good.
Thank you so much. And like with a lot of other things, we try to do everything ourselves. So I film whatever I can. Mikkel usually films me, and if I'm in the shot, and then I edit the videos. And beforehand, we usually, if there's need for it in that video, we write down a plot for it if we need an actual story, you know. So it all comes together like that, and it's really good to be able to do it ourselves because you have your vision in your head, and you know when you have the sound and the songs, you kind of get the emotion, you get the visual aspects. I know what kind of colors I want to use. I know what kind of movement I want to see. So it's really awesome to be able to do everything yourself from start to finish.
Well, you're doing a great job again. What's the video where you throw the brick at the mirror? Is that last day?
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, I love that one. And I tried watching it because for me, videos, I love live band videos, because for me, if you put a story to it, and you kind of did in Last Day, and I'm not putting it down, I'm just saying, but you know, you're walking around, you look like you're lost, you're trying to find yourself. I don't know exactly what the song means per se, but I like what you were doing because you guys kept cutting back to the band and you singing, and that is, I can't stand videos where they shove a story in your face and you go, you know, you just ruined the song for me because that's not what I thought it was about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a good thing about doing it yourself, because I'll always know what it's about. And you know, if you get someone else to produce your music video, they might hit a different nerve than the one you intended, you know, because you have it all in your head, like I said, all the emotions, and even like everything transfers to something visual. And yeah, like you said, The Last Day does have sort of a storyline, and that was all like written down meticulously because I had most of the things in my head, and I knew what kind of shots I wanted to see and how many seconds everything took. So everything was basically written down for that one.
Well, you're very talented, multi-talented. If you're doing that too, I mean, you're doing a great job. That's all I'm gonna tell you. As a fan, the more videos you put out, the more I'm going to watch them. So I hope there's more coming off.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, we like doing them, and people are so visual, and we are as well. So it's awesome to be able to give somebody something to people all the time, because we can make these as we go. And if we feel like a song needs a video, we're going to make it.
Well, please keep doing it, because I just, like I said, I don't want to stay on this too much, but it just... MTV, and I don't want to get into this too much, but they totally ruined MTV. It used to be music, and I kind of think like VH1 is like that now. And then they got their they started with Beavis and Butthead, and then these game shows, and then it went to rap, and that could be something too if you think rock is dead or something, because it doesn't seem like there's any good rock and roll bands out there. No offense to anybody, and that's when I heard you. I'm like, oh my god! I go, these guys are. You guys are awesome. You got your sound down, and again, we've talked about this on Twitter, and I didn't mean to say anything offensive, and I know you didn't take it that way. It's just suggestive. Like I said, I don't know anything, but your sound, your guitar sound, your drums, your harmonies in the way, and your little electronic, gizmos that you're using for filling in holes in introductions and stuff. It's freaking awesome. You guys just. It's been a long time since I listened to somebody in a band and a song, and it grabs my soul, and it kind of gives me the chills. And I'm sure you've been like that too. You've probably got your favorite bands and people that you listen to, and they just knock your socks off.
For sure, absolutely, and the same thing with our stuff, because everything comes from the inside. So it's I think it's like the spine of our music, that everything is emotional, and I don't need everybody to react emotionally to it, but they must be able to feel the nerve in it, that somebody had something to say or meant something, else it's just not going to matter.
Right. Well, you're doing a great job. So with emotions, obviously to write songs and to sing, it's got to come from the heart, your soul, and then you got to, being a singer, which I'm not, you have to get that out, and you have to connect with your audience, and I'm sure that's a very challenging thing to do. But talking to you and dealing with you, communicating with you on Twitter and stuff, to me, what I get out of you, you're so professional, you're so kind, you're so sweet, you're so grateful. But how do you get those emotions out without being too emotional or showing those emotions, because you got some pretty deep stuff going on in your songs?
I do, and I'm honestly not afraid to get too emotional or to dig too deep, because I think that's what music is for. When I write, I dig as deep as needed, and some songs go really deep and it's really uncomfortable, and I've been recording teary-eyed and stuff like that just because it means a lot to me. But then when I get out of it, when I'm not writing anymore, when I'm not performing anymore, I go back and rest. It's somewhere you dig down, and then you are in that moment, but then you pull back and you are somewhere else. I think it's a little hard to describe like that, because it just comes natural and just a thing that I and we do. But I feel like it's okay to go there, and because it doesn't control you just because you go there. It just means that you're able to pick up some stuff and work through it, actually.
Right. Well, yeah, I'm trying to listen to your words and everything, and some of them are hard to get. I don't have all your songs memorized, excuse me, but I definitely know a lot of them, and I'm getting the vibe, and I think that's what it's all about, is getting the vibe. Now, I'm going to share this with you. I am a huge Sammy Hagar fan, and he sings about cars and girls and cruising and love and all of the positive things about love. And just correct me if I'm wrong, because you're singing about that type of emotional relationship stuff, but it's more on the side of the breakup and the pain and the Scars, the song Scars, and things like that. And that's some really deep stuff, man. And I think everybody can relate to it, because I've never heard anybody sing about that type of stuff that goes so personal and so deep and come out in their music like that. On top of that, with your guitar work and your guitarist and your vibe and your sound, you have all that energy coming out too, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And I don't know, I think a lot of music today is just a bit bland and doesn't really dig deep, and I can't really sense the emotion. But for me, the music is there to actually heal me. And I feel like it's easier to grab onto the very deep stuff and the very emotional stuff, because that's the kind of stuff I don't want to talk about. but I want to sing about it, and I want to work with it like that. And that's the kind of emotion I get from the instrumentals. I usually get the instrumentals from Mikkel firsthand, and they give me like music in my head. They give me emotions. They give me the theme. So it's not a thing I decide on. It's a thing I feel, and the themes just come from every emotion that's in the instrumentals, which are very emotional to me. If they're not, I just can't write from them. But luckily, we team up really well like that. And then I think it's really healthy to work with it like that. And some of our songs are very like happy and empowering as well, but it's still about like breaking out from something, because that's the kind of stuff I need to write about.
Well, it's working. Well, you guys got a great chemistry there. So what, you two sit down and he starts doing some riffs or chords, or what do you think of this? And then something goes off in you, and then you start thinking and feeling and start coming up with lyrics and the melodies and stuff, or?
Yeah, usually we work separately, so we just send stuff over on the computer, because it's really nice to sit alone when you're working, at least for me, and it is for Mikkel as well. It's the way we kind of prefer to work a lot of the times, that you can sit with your own head and just dig deep and be in a zone like that. So I usually get some instrumentals. It could be like a verse and a chorus, or just like different parts where I work out vocally, where I feel like the chorus or whatever should be, and then I send back ideas for him, and he gets inspired to, oh cool, because then this would work as a middle A C part, what do you call it, and then this lead melody and the guitar would work wonders with the vocals here, stuff like that. So we just like ping pong back and forth until it all like becomes something bigger.
And then the songs just come out and bam.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow. Well, you guys like down tuning a lot, right? Or
sorry?
You like down tuning, like to C sharp, D flat?
I think we're it's a translation sometimes, drop C sharp, I think.
Yeah. And do you prefer that? Is it easier to singing, or is that the?
I feel like at the beginning when we started working together, we figured out what tuning would work best for my type of vocals, and we've just been doing the songs there where it like pushes the vocals to its best.
Well, speaking of your vocals, obviously, your scream is freaking awesome, man.
Thank you. I just got a tweet though saying it's been silent since the end of the last day.
Well, how did you develop that? I mean, I just tell the story. Like I'm singing, and all of a sudden you just go blah, or whatever you did, and it came out. Or was that something that you always one of your tools in your toolbox for being a vocalist? I mean, how did that happen? Because you sound probably obviously like Lacey from Flyleaf.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just working and writing, and in the process of writing a song, like in the beginning, but not like in the complete beginning. And I think Mikkel asked me, actually, I was wondering, because we both listened to Flyleaf, like, can you scream? I was like, I don't know. And I just went to the room next door, and I actually went with, the I'm So Sick, like the beginning of that song.
Right.
I was like, I got back and I said, yeah, I guess I can scream, because... and then I've just perfected it over time and gotten a lot better, because obviously a song like Scars, where it switches back and forth like really rapidly, it needs some more like scream vocal training.
Well, it is, when you do it, when I first watched, I don't know, was it Last Day? You're screaming Last Day, right?
I do. People are saying though they can't hear anything in the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well, I'm on Audacity, and they might have to listen to it on the podcast, not live. Hang on a minute, let me see. I was afraid of that. I didn't turn my mic on. Sorry, guys. Oh, wow. It is on the podcast, though. It is on the podcast.
Sure.
So people that are on Spreaker, and look at that. I'm sorry, guys. It is on the podcast at podbean.com or iTunes. I apologize. I was a little nervous, and I did not hit. I had the mute on for the Spreaker dashboard, but it is, the full interview is on the podcast. My apologies. I am so sorry. But it wasn't a waste of time, because I am recording it on Audacity. Boy, oh boy, do I feel weird.
It's there. We'll figure it out.
Well, no, they can listen to it on iTunes and they can listen to it at podbean.com. I'm real sorry, guys. I did not activate the mic, but it is activated for Audacity, so the podcast is good. So, wow. Well, that's sure.
There you go. We take it from here. Hi, guys.
Yeah, right. Say, wow. Wow. Well, I'm not a professional, and there you go right there, right? And it shows. So, it is on the podcast, guys. Again, I'm 100% positive because I'm watching Audacity when I'm checking my levels, and I can hear Maja and I can hear me, so we're good. But I do apologize. So, wow. So that really, they put a bummer in it, didn't it?
No worries.
All right, so let's get into, I'm going to tell you who I think you sound like. You are, well, have you ever listened to the Plum stuff when I asked you to yet or no? I mean, did you get
Yeah, I did check out a few songs. I don't remember the titles right now, though.
What do you think of her?
I feel like really good. Some of it a bit too soft for me, but I did hear like a pretty cool track. I've just forgotten the title by now.
Right. I saw her about a month ago and drove about 150 miles one way to see her. And
awesome.
She was at a church in Clinton, Illinois, and I was like, it was pews. So it's so cool that she can fill arenas, and she just goes to churches and still does that for people. And I was like in the fourth or fifth pew for $15, and I was 50 feet away from her. And she's amazing. Absolutely
awesome.
Amazing.
I can imagine it becomes really intimate like that.
Oh, yeah, those small venues. I mean, when you guys get big enough and you're playing, 10,000 stadiums and arenas and that small venue type of thing is so intimate and great for the fans and obviously you guys. I mean, that's just so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just right now, we do play both smaller and bigger venues, not the 10,000 stadium thingy, but you know what I mean. And
yeah.
I like both things a lot because it's a very different vibe in a good way. Like one of the UK shows, we're basically in the faces of people and we could even touch, which is awesomely cool. But also the bigger stages, which are really like tall, just gives some like power and energy as well. So I think everything is fun.
Right. Well, people are being nice in the chat room. Yeah, guys, I apologize again. It's like, oh, this asshole doesn't know what he's doing. It is being recorded, I swear to you. And if it's not, Maja will have to do it again. How's that sound?
Okay.
But it is. I promise you. It is there. Download it on your iPhone or your favorite RSS downloader, and you can listen to it. Or you can go to the webpage and listen to it. Not on Spreaker, but on Podbean, it will be there. And thank goodness I got a backup because I would be so pissed right now if I didn't get any of this. Sorry, but I would be. Well, I can imagine you're recording a song and then they tell you, oh, the mic was off. It's like, what?
Oh. That's going to be the thing. I mean, I've done an interview before where everything suddenly got messed up, and I think it was like a really long interview, and I believe with Mikkel as well. So we'd met up and sat for like an hour and a half doing a really long interview, and he was like, somebody with the file just completely fucked up and I don't have it anymore. Can we do it again? Yeah. And we did it again. It was still cool, and it was some different questions and a different experience, but it was all cool. And I mean, even with the music, when we record, I'm trying to say, sometimes we do an entire song and we meet up like a few days after to finish up, like if we didn't record the outro or something like that. And he's like, because I recorded with Mikkel, as some of you already know, he records all that stuff. And he's like, you sing better today, so we might want to redo it all again. And we've done that a couple of times, just because sometimes if you like had a cold, it can take like, at least for a singer, 4 weeks to get a super good voice again. And normal people are like, yeah, you're sick for a week, but yeah, you still have that like a fluff and phlegm on your voice for like weeks and weeks. So we've been recording some songs like multiple times just because of stuff like that.
Yeah, well, technical difficulties and glitches and things like that, you have no control over. But
it happens, yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely my fault, though. I did not hit the mute off of the mic because when all the stuff was playing in the beginning. But you know what?
Yeah, no need to linger. People are very understanding of stuff like that.
Yeah, they are. Well, can I share? I don't know how much time you got. Can I share the guitar thing with me?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Okay, so. I'm I'm on your YouTube channel, and some guy made a comment about your band about, oh, it's okay, but it sounds, what did he say? It just sounds bland? Or he said something like that. And, of course, I
Possibly.
I don't know, but it was kind of nice, but like, whatever. And I'm like, dude, they got their sound down. Do you know how hard it is for a band to get their sound? I don't care what chord you're playing. I don't care what progression. I don't care what key you're in. You guys got your sound. You guys realize that, obviously, don't you?
Yeah, I think we do, because, I mean, we started writing together, and of course we've developed since then, but even from day one, I feel like we were able to connect and figure out, okay, we want to do the same thing, this is going to be awesome. And luckily, we have developed in the same direction because we've wanted to do the same kind of thing. Like from the first EP to the latest EP, I definitely feel a change, and we've gone like a lot more naked, like in a, brutally honest and in your face way. And I like that. And luckily we both had that feeling that we wanted to go there.
Awesome. Well, so I'm on there watching your other videos, and then I said I watched Towards the Edge, and I go, perfect, but you're missing the guitar solo, okay? And then this is where you and I say yes, you say no, you win. It's your band, obviously. You know better than I do. Because like I said, I'm just a huge fan. And I'm just waiting for this ripping guitar. And I know you only got one guitarist, and he does a great job. And he can't clone himself. I wish he could. You could lay a track in there, that, and be sneaky and things like that, and he could play both. But, when you're live, that's kind of hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, I open my big fat mouth and go, well, if you need a crappy guitarist or solo, I'll do something. And I expected you to go, well, if you don't like it, then don't listen to it. Because that's what I would have said. I would have said, listen, this is our stuff. We're busting our ass. And this, we want to get into this. And if you don't like it, I appreciate your opinion, but, piss off type of thing. That's what I would say. Or turn the channel. Don't watch it. And you said somewhere around the lines of saying, I'd like to hear that someday. And when I saw that, and I'm like, oh, shit, Tim, now what are you going to do? And I'm,
dun.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh boy, did I just insert my foot in my mouth? And I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I'm a closet player. I've been playing a long, long time. I play in the basement. I was practicing with a band back in '94, which was my neighbor, for about a month. Made it on stage once, but raising kids and this and that, it just doesn't mix. Which I'm sure you can understand, because it takes all your time, man. And when you said that, I've never done a lead in my life. And I'm like, great, what am I? And I know enough about music to be dangerous. And I could read rhythms and things like that. My head's stuck in the alto clef because I learned viola in orchestra, and that's in the alto clef. Out of all the clefs to learn, I learned that one. Not bass, not treble, clef. It's alto. So playing the guitars in treble and reading it, whatever. So I'm a self-taught player, and I'm like, great, I got to come up with a lead now. And he didn't say do it or I want this by whenever. I'm like, okay, if I don't come through here, I'm an asshole. I gotta do it. I'm a man. I said I'm gonna do it. I gotta be a guy here, and I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna tell you something. I sat for almost 3 hours, and I did 23 or 24 takes, and I did that, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And it
is really tough. I know we've worked with a couple of different guitarists in the studio, and we always like to push people to the limit. And I've had really calm down to earth people just sitting there sweating and swearing like, no, I'm not going to take a fucking break. I'm going to get this done.
Yeah, right.
And that's the kind of attitude I like but like you said, I would never say I do feel the way that, okay, if you don't like it, good for you. We do what we want to do, and that's cool. But if you have an interpretation and you want to share it with me, I think that's freaking awesome, because usually when people want to either cover your stuff or work with it in a way, it's because they really, really admire what you've done already. And I see that as a compliment every time people want to do something about it.
Well, that's an awesome attitude to have, because I have my own business. When people start telling me how I should do things, I get defensive, and I'm like, listen, you don't know what it takes to, and that's where I'm getting in this too. And your attitude's right. Don't get me wrong. I wish I was as mature as you with this stuff, because I get defensive, and it's like you're attacking my kid here, and it's like, how dare you blah, 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 without sounding judgmental or an elitist. It's just that I get protective, and then when I get protective, I that comes out. But with you, I would like to hear that someday. And I'm like, and it was just so awesome, which made me even a bigger fan of you guys. And then I felt like I had to come through, and I know I destroyed the audio doing it on Audacity, and I redid it. But I just want to thank you again for that, because what I wanted to get at is I just did a dumb solo for how many measures and trying to figure out the key and blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
I can't imagine the stress for you guys. I know what it's like to set up, break down, drive, all that crap, get the sound, and people, it's like boating. Having a boat's great, but taking it out of the water, cleaning it, and getting it ready, it's all a big pain in the ass. But when you're on the water and the sun's out and everybody's, in their bikinis and swimsuits and drink, it's a blast. It's water skiing, tubing. That's got to be like what you guys do. I mean, when you're up there, I'm sure there's nothing more you would rather do, and it's worth all the hard work. But I can't imagine, like, okay, now you got to come out with an album, and you got to come out with more songs, and then you do that, and then you got to go on tour, and then that takes a year, and then you come back, and you're lucky if you get some time. Now you got to come out with another album, because they want another album, in, like every 2 years. And I can't even imagine the stress that it is on you guys, your musicians, that if and when that does happen, which it will, it's like, holy shit, I don't even want anything to do with this. This is rough. I'm just being honest. I have more respect for you guys now just by coming up with a dumb solo in one song that I was being a smartass on, and it's like, wow, this is really hard to do.
I feel that's the thing that takes a lot of time. That's the production, and that's all the details, because usually Mikkel and I write songs like pretty fast. Like he can send something over to me and I send something back to him. And when we had a writing session in LA this year actually, in the winter, and he did something during the day, and I grabbed it and I went into a room, like the other room, and sat there for like a couple of hours, and then I came back and then I just sang it to him directly, and that meant that we had like at least 3 full songs written in like 2 weeks, which is really cool, like from start to finish. But then of course when you get home, and it's not the recordings doesn't take that much time. We usually record like a lead vocal in like an afternoon, evening, and then do the like harmonies the next day or something like that. But then comes all the, okay, but what about this guitar here? Should this be, how do you like this drum fill? How do you feel like this is missing something? Why is this not as energetic? And I feel like that's the whole thing that takes a lot of like time and energy, because I think it was in Breathe In, and we said like, we need a little something more here or something like that. And it was like, we're going to look at it tomorrow. And it ended up taking like 2 weeks, because no, this is not right. Then we could also, and when you have nobody to tell you when to stop or when it's good enough, it's so easy to get caught up in it and just continue on forever, because you can do a million things. And sometimes it can be a little hard to like figure out that perfect exact thing you want to do. And you just try a lot of things, and suddenly like, wow, there went 2 weeks.
Right. Well, it sounds like you're trying to obtain perfection, or at least what you want, and I'm sure that can be very elusive. Like I said, I did that lead 22 takes, and it's still not exactly what I wanted, but I wanted to fit in the song and blah, 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 blah. And like I said, I can't imagine. It wasn't perfect for me, and I'm not complaining or bragging or anything of the kind. I'm just trying to make the point that isn't it pretty rare that you reach perfection in exactly what you want to do, and then actually you're fortunate enough to get that recorded?
I mean, I feel like we strive for imperfect perfection, because perfect is really super boring, but we do like continue to push on until we're like completely happy with the product. Because I know if there's something like, I think we recorded like one note or something, because I was like, it's not completely sharp, and it's gonna freaking bother me forever, you know? So yeah, it is, and I don't need to have the perfect vocals all the way through. I want the emotional vocals, but sometimes like a little or something like could like, oh, that's cool. And, no, it's not cool. It sounds like freaking shit. The song is ruined, you know? So I'd much rather do it again, and I know Mikkel feels the same way, that this it doesn't need to be perfect, everything, because that becomes so boring, you know, it's all square and chopped off and perfect and polished. And none of us really like that, because we want the nerve, we want the honesty, and that is somewhat like Naked track, you know, in a way, at least emotionally very in your face and very true to everything. And perfection doesn't give you that, but you can still be very strive for the perfect imperfection, just to make it, to push it to be really, really good, because you can sing a good vocal, but if it's not that perfect emotional vocal, you better go do it again, because I mean, we would regret that. And we do push each other hard, and you gotta like working with people like that. If you don't, it's not gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, it comes out. I mean, you guys are that's a good, I mean, I'll say this, not that you said it, but you're raw, in your face, high energy, take it or leave it, like it or not, and that's awesome. I mean, you guys just project that for me, and you almost got that perfected. So that's awesome. Just, I think that's only going to get better as you guys mature and get on and come out with more albums and songs and more experience. But I love it.
Yeah, sure.
I love it.
Yeah. Thank you. And you know, it's important that you're happy with everything you do, because then if people have a different opinion, you can still say, very, very securely say, okay, good for you. I do respect your opinion. I love that you have it. I'm completely 110% satisfied with what we did. And that's why we don't want to compromise, because if somebody says, oh, how about that part? I didn't really like it. And we'd be like, fuck, we didn't either, but we just went with it. That would suck so much, because right now when people have a different opinion, I can just be like, that's awesome. I don't think so. You know?
Well, I know I told you I downloaded the album and bought it, and I listened to Save Me, and I know I think you like it, but I'm not going to, obviously you do, but you really, really like it, I think. And I said, I don't know, I'm not so sure about it. And of course I listened to it again, and I told you I love the double bass, the drums. I mean, the drummer's awesome in it. It's a really great song.
Yeah.
And it was just simply awesome. But for me, I like high energy, in your face, blah, blah, blah stuff. And then when you get into those ballads or those slower, real deep. Oh, and by the way, when you sing Last Day, the acoustic version, your voice is amazing in that song.
Thank you. It was a bit fun, because I've never, it was a live recording, as you probably know, and I was playing the piano at the same time, which was a little weird, because I don't really play the piano. This is the first thing I've ever recorded and per se written on a piano. I mean, the song was written, but not the piano part of it, you know? So it was very, very different and very new, and I was shaking like a little leaf when I got to the studio, because I hadn't done that before, and usually I don't when I sing. When I sing, I go and sing because I know I'm pretty good at that, but this was just a lot. I was nervous, and Miguel hadn't heard it before. It was okay, I wrote this piano thingy, and it's okay, yeah, okay, I hope you like it, yep, you know?
Yeah, no, I do not know how musicians play an instrument and sing at the same time, because I've tried it, and it's hard as hell to do that. And if you're doing the piano, I mean, you got the left hand bass and the right, the melody and everything else, and the chords, and then you're singing. I mean, that's crazy. I mean,
it was tad different, because I'm used to playing chords and singing, which is quite easy. I mean, it's not difficult for me. I'm really good with chords, but not much else. So it's really difficult to also because the rhythm is kind of weird, also compared to the vocals. So it was a very new thing for me to do, but I love doing it.
Do you play guitar or you play piano? What do you play?
Unfortunately not. I mean, I have a guitar over here, and I actually really want to learn how to play it, but I just don't have the time right now. It's impossible.
You got to play it. There's nothing cooler, than chicks playing guitars, man.
It would be cool. I just don't have the time for it.
That'd be you'd have me on the floor if you were doing that. I'd be oh my God.
I mean, it's probably going to be a couple of years before I'm good enough to actually do that. So for now, don't expect it.
Well, no, I hear that. I don't even want to tell you how long I've been playing, and I'm not proud of it, but it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. It's extreme. Some people just pick it up, and in a year they sound like Eddie Van Halen or your favorite, guitarist, and you make me sick, because I've been playing since 1988, and I can do what I want to do now, but I'm at the point where it just comes out kind of unconsciously, and it just starts ripping out, and I have a blast doing it. I love it, but to get to that point was so hard and frustrating. I almost gave it up.
Yeah, it's like learning a new language. It's so
Exactly.
freaking cool when you're able to speak it like close to fluently, but in the process, like a couple of years, it just sucks.
Right. Well, I have hogged you enough. We got to talk about your fans because that's what this is all about. And what do you think of your fans? Obviously, it's an obvious answer for that. But share with, you just went on tour and what you were getting out of your fans, because I saw tweets where you guys hung around after, which is so cool, and made sure everybody was talked to and things of that nature.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's like the second best part. The best part is, of course, playing the show. That's my absolute favorite thing because I really, really love that. But the second favorite is just meeting everybody afterwards because now, as you said, we've just been in the UK for like 4 days, 4 shows, which was amazing because so many people had already heard the music beforehand and they were able to stand in the front and just sing along and sing louder than I did. It was amazing. I do like everybody else, I guess, do like variations when I sing live, but these guys just kept pushing on with the original. I was like, fuck, am I gonna have to change it to sing like with you guys? So, I mean, it was awesome and people were so kind and so grateful, and I was as well, because we just do what we love doing, and that some people travel like for several shows and so many miles and like several hours by train just to come and see the show, and had booked hotels and stuff like that. And I think it's crazy amazing to be able to meet people who just wanted to go to that show because it was you doing it.
Well, I wish I was there. I would die to see you guys. Hopefully you get to the States. Isn't that the long-term goal? Or
I mean, we have a lot of long-term goals. That's one of the goals, because we do want to go. I mean, we have a lot of fans in the States. We just, like everybody else, needs to figure it out, because it's always a bit difficult, and the whole work permit and setting up shows so far away from home and usually doesn't pay very well, but you still got to pay your bills and your gas and like find a place to sleep. There's just a lot to look after when you're completely independent, but I'm sure we're going to work it out and or get an opportunity at some point.
Yeah, unfortunately, life gets in the way and bills and things like that when you're trying to become a full-time professional musician, and I'm sure that's pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, screw live, because I moved past that. Every life for me is the music, and that's all I do. But bills you can't really run from, and a place to sleep at night after doing a show, you kind of need that, because and you need some sort of pay. And if you're in a city you've never been in before, and maybe like, oh, we don't really know if you can like draw enough people to the show, so I don't know if we can pay you, and like, okay, then I can't eat or sleep or drive tomorrow, so there's just a lot to work out. And I guess that's maybe harder than people think, because of course everybody's like, why aren't you coming to insert city? And it's like, we really want to go. Trust me, it's not because we don't want to or because we need like all the money in the world, but we need enough to make it work.
Right. Wow. And how are you guys supporting yourself? Like tickets and things like that, or saving money from? I mean, how do you even start doing that?
The whole show thing, or sorry.
Well, what you're talking about is expenses, gas.
Exactly. I mean, and we try to get enough money from the shows, and we try to sell merch like that. But besides that, we all need to keep a daytime job, because it's impossible to be able to pay your bills at this point. And I know a lot of people are surprised to hear that. But at some point I was like, oh, maybe that's not a cool thing to say, because people think you're something different. But I think it's really important to get out there that even though you're like what people would consider a successful or medium successful, medium big band, it takes a lot for you to be able to take care of yourself and quit that day job.
Yeah, and a lot of balls. When I started my business, and it's a long story, but when you don't have an income, I mean, that wakes you up to like, what am I going to do? And of course, you can go get another job. But when you guys get to that point where like, you know what? We either got to do this full time and make it happen and make it work, or we don't. And when you say goodbye to your job, I'm going to tell you something. That is scary as hell.
Yeah, I can totally imagine. Yeah. And I'm not letting, the reason why I haven't let go of mine yet is not because I don't have the balls to, but I'm I'm dependent on it right now.
Right.
But we will make it to a point where everybody says, okay, you can't take more time off to go tour or go do something. And then you got to figure some shit out to make it work, you know?
Right. Oh, absolutely. And you know what? And you don't know what's going to happen. Like when I started my business, because it's the same thing with the band, starting a band. It's a business. You're a company per se. It's the same thing. You don't know how many customers you're going to have. You don't know how many fans you're going to have. You don't even know if people are going to like you. And I had that too. And it took, I don't know, about 3 or 4 months, and I about ran out of money. And I got to $100 down in my checking business account, and all of a sudden the word got out, and bam. And I think that's what's going to happen with you guys. And I hope you don't get discouraged. It doesn't sound like you get discouraged too easily. But even
no, not. I don't think if you do, it's the completely wrong business. I mean, it really is. Right. It takes a lot of like hard work and persistence, and if you're like, oh, I want it to happen here, there, and now, it's the wrong business, because there's not a lot of money in the music business. But what there isn't in the music business is so many people who want to live making music or something in the music industry. So few money and so many people, and it's really hard just to rise like above that waterline of other bands, because like most people say, like, oh, but you guys are really good, why haven't you been like discovered or whatever? Right. Because there are so many others out there, like so many, and you really need to get yourself to a certain level for people even to notice you, because it takes a lot more than you probably think.
Well, my opinion is, as a consumer and seeing what's happened back from as a kid in the 70s and then the 80s as a teenager, 90s, zeros, whatever, and now the music industry, and you probably shouldn't comment on this. If you do, that's fine. But the music industry sucks right now. How can you guys get, like when I was a kid, we had albums, okay? And then we'd record them to cassettes. And then we'd say, hey, man, listen to this. And you're driving in your car, going to school, jamming, cruising Friday night, whatever. And it's like, you want me to make a copy? I was like, yeah, sure. So you give it to them. And every single time when I did that, or I did it myself, or I made it for somebody, they would buy the album. And then, but for me to share your stuff, how can I do that when it's on media digital stuff, even though you gave me permission to do it, and everybody? How am I going to take it from my hand to someone else's hand? And then if you can do that, you can't plop your iPod in your AM FM, well, it used to be cassette player or CD player in your car now. It seems like they're so afraid of people trying to sell music for free and copying it and this and that, going back to the Napster days, that they don't want to do that anymore. And it's so hard just to share some type of physical media and say, hey, because when I go to the Sammy Hagar, I don't know if you heard that, it's 1 o'clock. If I go to the Sammy Hagar concert, I'm wearing your shirt, and thank you, by the way, and I am passing out your CDs. Because they're going to go, oh, man, who's Forever Still? These guys, check them out. Bam, and that's it. Time to rock on. But to me, there's no way to do that anymore.
Yeah. I know it's a lot harder, and that's why we've really embraced social media, because when people reach out to us there, I think it's important to get a relationship with everybody, because you don't just need fans, you need friends actually to support you. And I feel like we become friends with people when we talk online, and it's really awesome to be able to have like conversations. And when you meet people, you already know something about it, and it does feel like you're meeting a friend.
Right. Well, I'll say this to you as far as advice, or if I were you, I would do that. I don't know if you read again Plum's book, but if you read that lady went through hell and just about gave up being a musician because of what her record company did to her. So that's kind of a good book to read to see, what could happen, because it was absolutely horrible. And thank God she's still doing it. But
okay, yeah, cool.
Got to be very careful. Well, is there any questions that people popping up or anything? Can you see or from people?
I just think people are happy listening, as far as I can tell.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Well, yeah, for half the show, right?
Yeah.
No,
that's a good part, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, they missed all the good parts. Yeah. No, I'll throw it up as soon as I'm done. I'll do everything here and convert it to an MP3, and then I'll throw you a link, and then you can share it with everybody, and I'll throw it out there. And I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm going on an hour here according to Audacity from the time I started, and I've had a great time. I mean, I don't know about you, but I really thank you for your time. This is so awesome, and you're the first musician I've interviewed, and I like
a great job because it was very comfortable. And like I told you, usually when I do Skype interviews, it's like talking to a friend. So it's really, really comfortable and really nice. And it's awesome to know that people want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, and you're so cool to do that because I try to tweet some people, and I'm not saying who, and they won't even respond. But I can imagine, I mean, if you get to that level and you got, 1 million fans, and they're all going to go, oh, you don't love me anymore because you're not talking to me. It's like, I got 1 million tweets here, man. How do you expect me to answer all this on Facebook? So I get it, and I understand that.
I mean, it can already be hard here because I do my best to respond to a lot of, almost every tweet, and I do my best to respond to messages, but we have got like more than 40,000 followers right now on Twitter.
Wow.
And it's and I mean it's almost impossible to be able to get to every message. I did at some point, but at the moment it's just not possible because we get so many messages that they're deleted from our inbox. But I respond to the ones I can get to.
So how many of those did you buy? Or are those all legit followers?
That's legit.
A joke. It's a joke.
Absolutely. We don't believe in that kind of stuff. And it's really, really funny because now we're able, because if we go check out our videos or something like that, or our pages and stuff like that, and you see that number on people's pages, but then you see the activity and you can say, oh yeah, I can tell you bought it.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I can't see you doing that, but that's amazing. 40,000.
But it's very legit question because so many people do it because it looks more impressive, and I think that might give the illusion to someone new that you have shit going on, you know, and that's another tactic. But we just like to go with the organic version and have people share it and help us out because I mean we're friends after all.
Right, and it's better to keep it real because you don't want that type of demographic or matrix and go, oh, look at all this we got, and you really don't have anything there. So it's good that that's a real substantial thing that you're doing. So
it's just really easy to see through. Also, if you're trying to impress a manager or a record company, they're going to see right through it because they know the same thing that I do. They know what kind of activity a band with so and so many followers or so and so many plays. If you see a YouTube video once in a while with 100,000 plays and then it's got 50 likes or something, it's yeah, probably not, but I mean, people try their best in their own way, and I don't judge them because it's a really, really dog world out there, and everybody's just trying to get their stuff out and in whatever way possible.
Well, the way the economy is now, it sucks here in America. I don't know if it's global, but yeah, it is dog eat dog. It is who can step on who first or steal this or do that or throw you under the bus, and it's real hard to keep your composure, and I just think it's that way in any industry right now, including, I mean, the music business is really bad with that.
Yeah, it's tough, and I feel like a lot of the time people get in touch with us and say, oh my god, this is so cool, and I can do this and this for you, and it only cost you so and so much money. Yeah, sure it does. So yeah, I think that's also one of the reasons that we've just learned to take care of ourselves, because when you just start out, you're a lot more gullible, and you just, like everybody else, you just want to make it, and okay, somebody has noticed me and want to help me out, and that's so cool. But then you notice the dollar signs, they want to help you out, and people saying, oh, we can review your stuff for $50. Okay, but there are plenty of cool people who like our stuff who are going to review it for a share,
Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Like I said, I don't know anything, but you're I don't know if that's the model, what, up and coming musicians are doing with the social media and giving the songs away. That freaks me out too, because it's like, how are you going to get exposed and how are people going to know who you are if you don't give your stuff away? Because if you, go ahead.
Sorry, we've just thought of it like a sample, at least. We always have at least one free song available, because if you don't know what you're getting into, you're not going to buy it. You'd never buy anything without hearing it first. So there you go. You can take this sample, listen to it, and if you love it, you probably want to get the rest. And we've actually had a lot of success with that. We've done Name Your Price on our last 2 releases.
Right.
And which has meant that some people has paid $1 for the EP and written us and said, I'm really sorry, but I freaking love it and I'm going to share it with all my friends. Okay, guess what? We have 5 friends in that city at our next show, and somebody said, okay, I just bought the EP for $20 because I have those money and I freaking love what you do. Okay, then we just have $20 to make new merch, everything helps. And people who love a model like that, like the pay what you want, name your price thing, they're usually going to help you out however they can. And I really like doing it like that.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to do it. Just and you're reinvesting your money and not blowing it. So that's great too.
Well, no money to blow, darling. No money to blow.
I hear you loud and clear. Trust me, I remember those days. I had to buy my groceries for my family and 2 kids 2 weeks before Christmas when I started my business, and I had to put all my groceries on my credit card because I had no income. So I've been there. But you know what? You're going to be a better person for it. You're going to know how to do it. And down the road, if you want to get into business, whatever that's going to be, you're going to go, look what I did and look what I can do. And I don't even know if you have a degree or not. I don't. And I'm not bragging that I don't or do, but I figured it out. And that's what you're doing.
Exactly. And it's just, you just got to work hard and make it all work out. And I mean, right now we've put a lot of money into the project because we record everything ourselves, which means we had to buy a lot of equipment. But at the same time, it gives us so much freedom. Like we can put out an EP or an album or a single whenever we want to because we invested like money really wisely, I think. And if there's something like, this guitar or vocal or whatever wasn't really the bomb, we can go in and redo it. I think that's worth a lot. And if you want to record and release a lot, it quickly pays off. And we're just lucky enough to have Mikkel, who is like an amazing sound engineer and can record it and mix it and everything.
Yeah, your albums are great. I listen to them in my headphones like I got on now, and they're Bose, and I'm like, oh my God, this is such high-grade quality studio work. It's nuts. That guy does a great job.
Yeah, and I can say, I know, because I'm not going to sound like an ass because I'm not the one doing it. He's the one doing it, and he's freaking amazing. Sometimes when he compares, like as people do, to other stuff, like, okay, Maja, how do you think this sounds compared to this, which is like a really high-level production? He's like, do you think ours sound as good? I was like, ours sound better, dude, like way better. Are you insane? But, I mean, he's really, really good, in my opinion, and I'm not just saying that because I'm working with him, but I say that because I can compare it to like really high value productions from big bands, and we still compare to that, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, very professional, great. I mean, you guys got all the pieces together. It dumbfounds me and baffles me that nobody has picked you guys up, and I just think it's going to take the right person at the right time. Like, Gene Simmons from Kiss has discovered countless people. You're just going to be somewhere sometime, and someone's going to go, holy shit, who are these guys? And you're going to get the attention. It's just a matter of the timing. I'm 100% confident of that.
Sure, I am too. And at the same time, we just gonna like make stuff happen for ourselves, because I think this is like the perfect time to be able to do stuff for yourself, like set up your own tours and do your own recordings, try your own PR, and stuff like that. I think it's the perfect time for that because you have the internet. There is no place you can't be, and the whole being discovered thing, like I'm positive some people can help you out, but so far we've gotten a handful of record deals, and that sounds like, whoa, that's crazy, you got like 5 record deals. Yeah, we did, and they freaking sucked.
Right, yeah, you're very smart. Don't jump into that with both feet. Absolutely not.
It's really easy to do in the beginning, because everybody tells you that the record deal, it's the magic thing, but it's not. Like, a lot of the times it's people who want to say, yeah, you can get this deal, it will cost you. No, I am going to pay to get a record deal? No, not at all. It's the other way around. That's what it used to be, at least, right? Now the other thing is actually becoming a thing. And young bands or desperate bands or people who just don't know any better, they fall for it and try to do it because they just desperately want to get somewhere.
Well, since you brought it up and it's in Plum's book and it's public, that's exactly what happened to her. She was a 18, 20-year-old kid and signed a record deal, and they ended up owning her material and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, we're not going to release you mainstream and label you Christian until you sell 1 million albums, and then maybe we'll put you mainstream. And she's like, you got to be kidding me. And that's what almost destroyed her, and she filed bankruptcy in the whole 9 yards. So you're very smart. Very smart, and not going on your emotions and going, oh my God, we got a record, and that's it, and you just sold your soul, and you're done.
Yeah, it could be really easy to do that. But if it's people who are not really interested in investing anything in you, but just want whatever income you may bring to the company, that kind of sucks.
Yeah, right. Well, you guys are going to call your own shots. You're, like I said, you're very smart, you're very intuitive, and you're not looking for an easy ride or somebody to help me to do this. You guys got the right attitude. You're going to kick ass, and you're going to do this until someone says, hey, we want to sign you, and here's the deal. And it's going to be to your advantage, and they're going to pay you, because that's the way it should be.
That is the way it should be.
Yeah,
that is the way it should be. And until then, if that day ever comes, because I believe that we can make it like pretty far on our own, and just like, but it's always, it's always good to be able to meet people who actually have some finances to put into bands to like push it out there, because right now we can only reach whatever we can reach with clicks online,
Right.
like to get somewhere. So of course it's amazing to be able to find somebody who actually like believes in the band and want to do something about it with you, but just never wait around to be saved, because you're not going to be saved. Anybody who can really, really help you out, they won't give a shit about you before you've proven yourself and gotten yourself somewhere. So that's what we're working on, and maybe we'll meet somebody someday. Maybe we won't, but I'm sure we're going to get there no matter what.
Oh no, you will. Like I said, I the bands that have made it now today, Def Leppard, Bon Jovi, way back then, I'm like, these guys are going to be something else, and you guys fall into that genre. I mean, it's like you guys are going to make it. It just depends on when, and not giving up. I'm 1,000% confident that it's going to happen.
I am too, because it's just all about smart moves and hard work, and like you said, not giving up. I think that's the main reason people fail. It's because they give up, or of course because they don't have a good enough product. But given the response we've gotten from people so far, and my own feeling, it's a really good product. So we just need that other part.
Well, I'm going to suggest this to you. I don't know if I have or not in our communication, but there is a interview with Eddie Van Halen, and it's called the Eddie Van Halen Smithsonian interview. And this Asian lady who used to be a CNN anchor, I think, I don't know, she interviews him, and it's so awesome. There is so much information in there, and one of which is that when Van Halen came out, rock was dead. It was like 76, 77. I was 12, 13 years old, and I remember them coming out, and they were awesome. But nobody would get their attention. Disco was kicking their ass. Nobody wanted to touch them with a label, and all they did is kept passing flyers out, doing social media back at that time, what you guys are doing, and filled stadiums and got bigger, bigger, and bigger, and then they had no choice to sign them because they were kicking ass.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are doing. I really think that's what's going to happen with you guys.
Thank you. And I mean, we don't need that much, because none of us really need a lot. I don't need to make hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that. I just want enough to support myself and hopefully have a warm bed at night. and that's basically it. I mean, I really don't need much, and I work with people who don't either, because if you expect I want the whole big nightliner bus, and I want the hotel rooms and the champagne and stuff like that, you can get the fuck out. Right.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm gonna say something, and I'm gonna let you go, because we're on an hour and 15 minutes, which is nuts. I mean, obviously this is pretty good, because it wouldn't have lasted this long. But I thank you again. But I want to ask you this: is it possible, without letting the cat out of the bag, the songs that you're singing about the negative, hurtful feelings and emotions and relationships gone bad or controlling or whatever, is it possible down the road that Forever Still is going to come out with, okay, I'm over that, I'm breaking out, kind of like Awake the Fire? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's kind of like what that was, right? It's like, I'm
sure,
sick
yeah, it was, and that was written, I believe, after breaking out of that bad relationship. Like we talked about a little earlier, it's usually easiest for me to grab onto the things that are really bugging me or have been bugging me, because I've been through a lot of stuff, and there's just a lot to choose from, and usually it's the kind of things that make us feel something very strongly, and pain is usually that thing that's easier for me to grab onto. But the Awake the Fire and The Last Day as well, and Towards the Edge, I really positive songs, all of them. They're like about that whole, the fire awoken in you, and the living every day like it's the last day, and Towards is just about breathing the entire life in and enjoying all the small things. So these things are there as well. Without saying too much, there's probably going to be a little less sorrow in the future and some more aggression.
Yeah, and high energy and in your face. And do me a favor, write something in A so I can play with it, because that's about the only.
I mean that's our main priority is making it fit well with my voice, and that's what we went with from the beginning. So we're probably going to continue with whatever works out. So who knows?
You mean you don't use auto-tune or nothing like that? Huh?
Don't use auto-tune, no. Not really our thing, you know. I mean, I always prefer, like, when you go to a live show that you have the whole band jumping around and you get like all the energy and all the emotion, and I don't care if there's a wrong note here and there, and I do the same thing myself, because I can hear all the perfect notes when I'm at home, you know, and when I'm listening to the CD, that's where you like want to hear it in all its like imperfect perfection, as I say with our stuff. But live, it's a whole different thing. If you just everybody stand still and play as good as they can, go. That's going to become so boring. So rather give like that full energy, and then do your instrument as good as you can while rocking out like that. I feel that's so much better. And I mean, it's really few bands where I go see them live and say, ugh, they were playing so bad, or he was singing so badly, because you just sense all the energy instead, and that's the most important thing. So unless it's like really, really horrific, I'll always prefer like the high energy and just whatever comes.
Right. Well, when you're in the studio and you're singing, like I said, when you sing, was it Last Day acoustic? Mm-hmm. Your voice is beautiful. And the things that you're singing is just, it's amazing. You are one of the best, and I am not just saying this, because this is another reason why I'm a fan. I want to talk to you. You are one of the best female vocalists I've ever heard in my life.
Why, thank you. That's very kind of you. I do care
true.
A lot about the vocals as well. So, you know, I was luckily for me blessed with a pretty good, at least in my opinion, tone of voice and a good ear for it. But it still takes like so much practice to get your craft really good, like with the guitar or any other instrument.
Tell me about it. I know.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm going to say this. If you guys don't make it, and I love the guitar, I mean, I love it. If you guys don't make it, I'm never going to play again, and I mean it. I will.
Wow, don't say that. That sounds like a stupid thing.
No, it's not a stupid thing. It's just how committed and passionate I am, because, you know, I'll never be that, and I know that. I don't really want it at this point in my life. I mean, it's a dream that everybody has. I just wish I would have started sooner. And here I go. I'm 51, and it's like, what the hell just happened to 30 years? And I'm serious.
Oh shit! Don't even say it.
You know how people tell you time flies. It does. It
does. I know it already does. I'm in my 20s, and I already feel like everything is moving by so fast. Like suddenly it's autumn, and I was like, shit, where did summer go? And I feel like that every year, and I just get older and older, and I hardly notice.
Well, that's why you can't give up, because I'll just take a year off or 2 and 5, and then it turns into 10. Then you're 30, 40, and then you're my age, and you're like, what the fuck? What just happened? Where am I? Who am I?
Yeah.
You know,
life is so short. I mean that's when I realized, like, okay, everybody's saying, oh, you need that and this and that education, you need that kind of job, you need that kind of apartment, and you need to be safe, you need to be secure and just work it out, have that safety net and all that kind of stuff, which sound really good, except it sounds like shit, because what happened to being happy, and what happened to everybody saying when they're like old on their deathbed, saying, oh, I wish I would have. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be on my deathbed and thinking, hell yeah. Either if it is, at least I tried and I love that, or hell yeah, it happened because I worked hard, and not the whole, I wonder what my life would have been like if I did all the things I wanted to do, and I wonder if I would have been happy.
Yeah, well, that's great philosophy to live by, because you're not going to have any regrets, and like you said, and look back and go, you know, shoulda, woulda, coulda. And,
hopefully not, because I mean, my biggest regret is not believing that earlier on, but I had a lot of stuff in my mind and a lot of like, I lived in a little square box like a lot of other people do, because that's what we've been taught to do, and that's how we've been like taught that the world is, and that's what we need to do. And it takes a lot to break out from that. And still some people are like saying, but what if that whole music thing doesn't work out and you're not going to have an education? But then at the same time, I had an appointment with my dentist, as people do, and she told me about this guy in his 70s who suddenly decided that he wanted to do, I don't know if I'm saying archaeology. Is that the right word for digging up fossils? Do you know what I mean?
Archaeology?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you. And he figured out he wanted to do that when he was like 70. And then he took that education and he did it. I mean, okay, that's pretty kind of cool.
Right.
You can always get an education if you change your mind. But I mean,
Yeah, right.
If you can't make it priority number one to be happy, I mean,
yeah, you got to chase and live your dreams regardless of how old you are and what circumstances.
Sure.
You always have plenty of excuses not to do it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the world is gonna judge you, and you're gonna fall, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna be alone, or all that kind of stuff. And some of it is true, but I mean, life is still so short. So for your own sake, make the most of it.
Right. Well, I got to tell you something. We killed my battery. I had to plug in on my laptop. And it was fully charged, and it's been an hour and 20. And I gonna have to end this, and I really don't want to, but I'm gonna have to. I really thank you so much for
my absolute pleasure
for coming on. I hope it was good, except for the the no-show for the first half hour.
Yeah.
But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it as well, and it was good.
Absolutely. Oh, you can tell. I'm like when I'm talking to people, I feel like I'm an open book, and if I come off happy and content, I am.
Right. All right. Well, I will be watching and, of course, tweeting and whatever and saying stupid things on your YouTube discussion boards and putting my foot in my mouth, I'm sure, in the future. But I always will be defending you and looking out for you guys. And I think that's what all your fans do. I think your fans want you so bad to make it. And when it happens, everybody's just going to go apeshit, including me. And it's like, finally. And everybody's going to be so happy for you.
People are they're amazing. I'm really grateful. We've had also people in the States who've just taken on to they've just been printing thousands and thousands of flyers. And I said, okay, please, but can I give you some money for that? No, not a problem. And they go all over the States to big concerts and big festivals and just hand out flyers with that free link to music download. And I mean, how crazy is that?
Right. Well, I'll try to keep you informed about Wingding. I can't believe they canceled that. And that thing goes on.
It happens a lot, unfortunately. I think it's the whole financial deal, and
I mean, you told me that, and I'm like, what? It's been going on for forever. And the first time I bring it up to somebody, it's canceled, and it's like,
yeah, it sucks. It really does.
Well, it's timing. It's all timing.
Yeah.
It happened for a reason. That's what I believe, and I think, and it's not going to come on your terms or anybody's terms. It's just going to come. And when it comes, you better get ready, because it's going to be overnight. You guys are just going to be, you're going to be awesome. I have no doubt about it. And
we're ready. We're ready.
I can tell.
Don't worry.
And I feel real lucky and fortunate to talk to you before you get to that point.
Sure. I mean, I hopefully I'll be able to take as much time off as possible to always do this kind of stuff. But I mean, I do know that time will always become more limited. I'm feeling that now because, like I said, at some point I was able to respond to each and every message, and by now they just disappear out of her inbox, and that kind of stuff happens. But I mean, we do our best, and I think we always will, because we're really down to earth,
Oh yeah, obviously, you guys have been great to deal with, and I expected a few times to be told to shut up or something or go away. it never. Yeah, well, it never happened. So it's like, I don't know. Just maybe it's you guys in Denmark are a lot more nicer than us short-fused Americans. I don't know.
Not at all.
No?
No, not really. You've probably heard this stereotype that New Yorkers are a bit stuck up, or maybe a bit to themselves. Yeah. And when I went to New York, everybody was like, hi, cool, love your hair, you look pretty, and really cool and open. And in Denmark, it's just if you talk to someone else, they're going to look at you and do I have to respond to this? Why are we communicating in a public space when we don't know each other?
Oh, you got to get the hell out of Denmark. Are you serious?
I mean, it's not even lie, especially in the winter, because Danes become kind of depressed when it's dark and cold.
I've been in very few cities in this country that people are assholes like that. 90% of the time, they're really, really friendly and cool and are outgoing.
Yeah, they are here as well. People are just very reserved, and it's a different kind of setting. If you're out like drinking with people, every Danish person will be your friend and have a beer with you, I believe. But if you're like at the grocery store in line, and somebody's looking at you, it's like, please don't talk to me. Please don't talk to me. I just want to be alone and get my groceries. And when I've been in the States, be it New York or be it Los Angeles, it's like, hi, how are you doing? So cool to meet you. Love your hair. What have you been doing today? And that's so anti-Danish.
Amazing. Well, then how did you become like that? Are you like one off or one out or the weirdo out of people? Or
no, I mean, I think I'm the same way in a lot of like aspects. I'm the kind of girl who just want to stand in line and get my groceries and just everybody please shut up. But when I'm talking to people, to fans, to friends, whatever, I'm really open and very talkative. But I have my moments when I'm out in public. I prefer being alone too, and maybe that is just the Danish mentality. Like we don't really want to communicate that much with people, and it's weird because, like I said, Miguel and I was in Los Angeles, and people just walk up to you on the street and like, hey, cool, I like your hair. So what are you doing? It's like, this is so weird, but kind of cool, you know?
Right. Wow, that's
it's
amazing.
I think it's just a very different culture.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. Well, get to the States, and people aren't like that. Even in New York and L.A. and even Chicago. I mean, it's a great country. We have our problems, and I don't want to get into that, but it's no, but it's still a pretty good place to live. So
sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go. I mean, I can't believe it. An hour and a half. It's probably the best interview I've ever had. I've never interviewed a musician. I hope I did good. I hope people can relate.
You did, and time flies. It's just a nice conversation and not like these one-liners, you know.
Well, I read some of your interviews, and nothing against anybody, because I don't do this for a living, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I want to ask the questions that I want to be answered, and I also try to ask questions that I would want to be asked if I were you.
Yeah,
and that's where I come from. I'm like, it's just all the stupid questions, and I'm like, why? Like, did you hear what happened to Robert Downey Jr. when he got up and left because the guy was starting to ask him personal questions about?
Yeah, I think I saw like a GIF of that or something like that.
Yeah, thank God he got it. I was like, well, back in your dark days, does that still haunt you and all this kind of crap? It's like, what are we talking about this for? It's about a movie. What does it matter that I did 30 years ago? And I did all this stuff, and I'm here now, which is amazing to begin with all the problems that guy had.
Yeah, there'll always be people like that. Lucky for me, I've only had like really, really cool people like do interviews with me, and everything has been like really comfortable and really like what do you say? Not overstepping any boundaries. Not that I have that many, but I mean like.
Well, you don't want things like, because, when you finally get recognized, people try to dig dirt up on you, and God forbid somebody sees you hugging or kissing somebody, male or female, and they're like, oh, well, she's a lesbian now, or she's having a relationship with this guy. It's like, all that crap you're going to have to deal with, and it's like, it's like, why do people have to go there? I don't know why
you
they
need
do.
to be pretty big too for people to care that much about your private life, I guess, and the people who care about my private life. Now then it's like cool stuff like I know when your birthday is or something like that.
Right.
Like, okay, cool,
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah. Well, I am definitely going to let you go. I wish you guys nothing but the best. And
thank you. You too, and thank you for me tonight. I was going to say tonight, but it's pretty daytime with you,
yes,
I guess.
Yeah,
but
it's 1:30, but yeah, I really appreciate it. I'll be a fan of you guys forever. And I just can't wait to the day that you're mainstream and everybody knows who you are.
Thank you.
So, okay?
Sure.
All right. I'll see you on Twitter and keep in touch and make more stupid comments for sure. Okay?
Absolutely.
Right.
See ya.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. It's Maja from Forever Still. At least half of what you heard, I thought it was pretty darn good, but I will definitely throw this up on the podcast. And for what you didn't miss, what a great person, unbelievable, wow! And get that up there. And again, my deepest apologies for muting my mic on Spreaker. But you'll get it on the podcast. I'll send a link, podbean.com. And you can download it on iTunes. Just go to iTunes and Original Red Pill Show. And then you can go to Podbean and type Original Red Pill Show, and you can download it. And again, I feel horrible about it. I'm not a professional. I was excited, and I didn't hit the damn mute button. But it is on Audacity. It's still cruising. I will stop this, close the show, get it up as soon as possible. My deepest apologies. Please don't hate me for it. I made a mistake. It'll probably happen again. So anyway, thanks for listening to me. God bless everybody, and get the word out about Forever Still, will ya? It's the only way that these guys are gonna make it, and they're one of the few bands that really floats my boat. I didn't really want to say that to her, but they do. They really get to me, and they're amazing. I love them. I love the sound. I love the material, the message. They got it going. So get the word out for them, because the only way it's going to happen is through you and the fans. That's it. So with that said, thanks for listening to me, everybody. Again, I apologize. I'll get this up. God bless everyone, and have a wonderful weekend. And hopefully you can listen to this hour-and-a-half podcast. Yay. Okay, you have been listening to the Original Red Pill Show.